you start us off with the 400? You had some words on Twitter about it, so why don't you'll break that down? What were your thoughts on this race?
So after the prelim, I went to Twitter and I just said I was disappointed in these guys' performances. It felt like day one, nobody was trying to drop a bomb. Nobody was trying to dominate. Nobody was trying to send a message to the rest of the field. It was kind of like, oh, let me do what I can to qualify. The qualifying times were like 46.4s and 46.2s. And quite frankly, that's bullshit. Those are bullshit times for a national championship track meet. So I was disappointed. And I thought that Will Floyd in the first round, he showed me a little bit of grit. So after the first round, I thought he was going to win. And congrats to him. He ended up winning in 45-43, which is it's all right. It's pretty mid to be a national championship time. No hate at all. He won a national championship. Congrats to him. He did what he had to do to win. But looking at the rest of the field, Nathaniel Ezekiel, who ran 44.7 already this season, backed off and ran pretty scared in the final, in my opinion. He didn't run aggressively at all. He didn't run confidently at all. He didn't run like he was trying to dominate the field. Auhmad Robinson, I said it. I don't know how many times I've said it now at this point. They get in the comments and call me a hater, and he likes to take things that I say and say, okay, you'll see. And I called him a relay god, and he can't even be the relay god anymore because he got his team DQ'd in the 4x4. We'll get to that later. But this kid, I never seen, and we were speaking about it when we were at the watch party watching the 400. I've never seen anybody in an indoor 4 get out hard, back off, try to kick, back off, and try to kick again. I don't know if that's his confidence level in himself. I don't know if that's him underestimating his opponents. I think it's kind of a bit of that. But it's obviously not working. And it's not going to work running the 400 that way. Especially on an indoor track when you're the smallest guy in the field, trying to get away with trying to, run around people and do all of that. It's just too many factors to deal with to be running that way. So all in all, like, I was pretty disappointed with these performances. I wanted to see Johnny Blockberger enter the 4, and he didn't enter the 4 at all. Placed 7th in the 2. Sorry for my pessimistic tone here, but I was expecting potentially a world record to be challenged in this 400 this weekend because we've seen 2 guys in this field already run 44 before, and they didn't even come fucking close. It's terrible.
Tell me how you really feel, Noah. No. Yeah, I mean, to see where the record or the where we're at right now, like you said, is in the 44s, and then it's like we got nearly a full second like slower than the time that we had kind of thought it was going to be, was interesting. Like it's, and same with like what you said with Nathaniel Ezekiel, like the announcers kept saying how he's like, oh yeah, he doesn't get out well. He's like, they said it. He's never in the blocks, or like he never gets to the pole first. And then he didn't. He was second to the pole. And then they're like, okay, but he kicks in the last 150 meters. And it didn't work. And I think it's like that strategy. Now, I've never ran an open 400 indoors, but I feel at the championship, that strategy has to be a little different than if you're just racing in a regular meet, where the win matters more. It should matter more to you than the time. And if you are worried about that win, that time would potentially come. Because if you need to get first to the pole in that 400, because he tried passing on the curve. He tried to pass Will on the curve, and it didn't work. Because you can't be passing people on an indoor 200 on the curve. You're not only are you running more, you're now up on an angle. Like, it's going to make it even more difficult for you on a race that's already difficult to run. And so that strategy that he was using just clearly was not something that it should be. And it's interesting. Like, I mean, he's a senior. Like, he's been doing this right now. Like, I mean, this is I bet his come out year. Like, this is him really, really being big. But you'd think when you're coming from Baylor, you're a senior, you've got the fastest time in the country, I'd expect a better race strategy than what we had. And he let the guy, Will Floyd, who stepped onto Athens campus in January for the first time, to be able to come through and win his national championship. Will Floyd should not have won this. Like, this was Nathaniel Ezekiel's championship to lose, and unfortunately, that's what happened. Like, I thought that there was no reason that he should not have gotten that win, or at the very least, if he didn't win, that it was like a world record-esque time where it's like, hey, if you're going to beat me, then you're going to have to like go to the depths for it. But I mean, in the interview Will Floyd did after, he even said that his coach that coach was saying, yeah, bring these racers to the depths, bring them to the deep end. They weren't in the deep end, they were in the shallow end. He just still beat them. Like, they weren't in the deep end for this race. He just had pool floaties on, and they were sinking. It's like, so I thought it could have been so much better. I mean, the drama of it, like, it was a very close race. I mean, the top two separated by 1/100th, and then the next two separated by just 2/100ths, even though it seemed a little bit closer than that. So the drama of it was exciting because the number ones in the second heat and the number ones in the first heat both were super close. So that did make it exciting. That did make it fun. But I was just super surprised that Nathaniel Ezekiel didn't win, and when the winning time was 45:43.
Yeah. And okay. So you can pass people on a turn when you're a 44 guy and you're running against 46, 47 guys. But at a national championship, if you're not first to the pole, you're going to lose. Here's why. Last year, 2024, Christopher Morales-Williams, first to the pole, breaks the world record indoors. Year before that, Elijah Godwin, 44.7, national champion, first to the pole. Year before that, Randolph Ross, 44.8, or maybe 44.79, first to the pole, national champion. Year before that, me, 44.71, first to the pole, national champion. You're not going to win a national championship in the 400 meters indoors if you're not first to the pole. Trying to pass people that's also running 44 high, 45 low is not going to work on an indoor track. It's not going to work. You can do it against shitty competition in the regular season, yes. But when it comes time, the big dogs come out with the big dogs, you're not passing on a turn. Give it up. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, like, I didn't know it went all the way back, that the last four winners, all people that are first to the pole. And interesting to see, Georgia, they've won the last three years in a row, right? It's with Floyd, Godwin, and Morales-Williams. So clearly,
and the 4x4.
And the 4x4. So clearly, one coach, at least in this nation, knows, get to the pole first. You have to win. If you can't win the 200, you can't win the 400. You got to be first there. And it's showing, it's working, and they're winning because of it. So shout out to them for being able to win. Now, outdoors, it can be a little bit of a different story. You ain't got to cut in. It's a little bit different, but I was just surprised by the race strategy that we saw there. So
yeah, and you said it, like, Ezekiel's a senior, so is Auhmad. Ahmad's a fifth-year senior. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, but that's my take on the 400 minutes. Sorry, guys.
Well, so that's your take on the 400. What about that 4x4? So with the 4x4, that was wild stuff. Could you break down what kind of happened with this 4x4, the DQs, the shoving, the drama after, and for those that might not have watched or wasn't quite sure what happened?
Yeah. So first of all, congrats to Georgia winning out of the second heat. I think the top three times were either out of the first or second heat. But with the final heat, you had Texas A&M, you had USC, you had was it Arizona State?
So in the second heat was Georgia, Texas Tech, Arizona State, and Virginia Tech.
Okay. So the final must have been what? Arkansas, USC.
Which one are you talking about? Which heat?
The very last heat.
Yeah, so the very last heat was USC, Florida, Arkansas, and Texas A&M.
Okay, so that was where all the drama occurred, right? So Texas A&M got DQ'd, and I knew it was a DQ as soon as it happened. But Auhmad, relay god, was the pop-off for Texas A&M, and he impeded. He was on the outside merging in. He tried to get the break this time. At least he tried to get the break this time. But he was merging, and he impeded upon the Arkansas runner, who then was hit in the back by the USC runner, and he dropped the baton. So Arkansas is already out of the race. the race continues, and it's time for the anchor leg. And Arkansas was running around. They were basically getting lapped, and the officials were holding the anchors from being able to get onto the track. So you can see Texas A&M get the baton in first, and then USC, Johnny Blockberger. Great job, Johnny Blockberger, to finish your collegiate indoor career, by the way. That was a great finish. He had to run from off the track onto the track, as well as, I believe, the Florida runner, off the track onto the track to get the baton from their third legs into the anchor. USC won the heat. I think they placed third overall in the race. A&M was DQ'd. It was a big discussion. I saw Coach Case at Arkansas saying, "We'll run it again. We'll run it again by ourselves. We'll line us up." Didn't end up happening, but it was a lot of drama, a lot of weird things. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, NCAA nearly dropped the ball because they didn't let the anchors onto the track when they were supposed to be onto the track.
Yeah, no, that was wild. Yeah, we had Arkansas. Let's see, take a look at these times. So we had their first runner ran a 59, second one ran a 52, third ran a 53, fourth ran a 1 minute and 2 seconds. So yeah, they were, once that bump and they dropped that baton, they all stopped running. And so I get that. I mean, this is what I don't quite understand about it, of if you're going to do that, just leave. It's stop, because it's not like outdoors where there's only 8 finalists. There's 11 teams in this thing, right? There's 3 heats. So if you run this slow, you're not going to win. You're not going to score any points. It's a useless race. Why do you run it at all? Just step off the track and quit, because now you're impeding everyone else that's actually trying to run. The last runners were running 1 minute and 2 seconds. I ran a faster 400. I'm 40 pounds out of shape, and I haven't ran in 4 years. I ran a faster 400 than that. And you're at the national championship. Clearly, and obviously you don't run a 1 minute, you don't run a 102. Obviously, there's so much, they're significantly faster than that. But it's you're impeding the rest of the competition. You're making it there's no reason for you to be doing this. And so I didn't get it. I think it's weird. Just stop. It's not like you're going to score points. You're not scoring any points by finishing this. You're just being a nuisance. So that's my take on it. I thought they should have just let him go, but
yeah,
they didn't keep running.
I think had the first leg just stopped and walked off the track, there would have been a chance for them to get a repechage, or however you say it, run by themselves, kind of like the 2016 USA Women 4x1. Because if they DQ'd A&M for impeding upon him, if he had just stopped, that I think there would have been a better chance for them to get a run in by themselves, because they were in contention to win the team title. I believe they would have had to just beat USC. I think they were down by 2 points going into that event. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, USC got 1 with 39. Arkansas has 30. And so if they won, so then because if USC gets 10 points, that means they had 20. Would have been 28.
Or USC would have gotten 6 for that race, I think.
Yeah. So going into this competition, USC had 29 points and Arkansas had 30 points, if my math is correct. Because if USC won, then yeah.
But they didn't win the relay though, so they got 4th in the relay.
Oh wait, they got 4th in the relay. Okay,
yeah, so they would have got, what's that, 6 points or 5 points?
6. Yeah, because it's 10, 8, 6. Yeah, 5. So they got 5 points. Yeah, so they had 34. So it was 30 to 34 that they had. So if Arkansas had won the national championship in the 4x4, then they would have been team title champions. So that's why they're probably saying, "Hey, let's run it again. Let's run it again." But yeah, if you stop the race, then because now they're like, "Whoa, you finished it. What are you talking about? You finished the 4x4. You have a time." But if you step off right there, it's like, "No, we couldn't do it. You see, we got impeded." Maybe you have a case, and maybe you could have won. So that was, I didn't think of it that way.
Crazy, huge implications there, but nonetheless, congrats to the men of USC. I think we were saying it since the very first week of the season that we both had either it was USC or A&M winning the men's side. JC Stevenson had a great performance. Johnny Brackens obviously didn't do what he wanted to do, but he still had a good performance. They had a scorer in the 2, or 2 scorers in the 2. Scorer in the 4. Obviously, they scored in the 4x4. Yeah, just a great team performance by the Trojans.
Yeah, no, it was good. A little fight on action. Yeah, yeah.